Get ready for an incredible tale of friendship. In a small zoo in Russia, there was a compassionate animal enthusiast named Olga, who encountered a striking male cheetah named Ichul, a recent addition to the zoo. One day, everyone noticed that Ichul didn't move from his spot in his new room, and even refused to eat or drink. Concerned for his health, the zoo staff called in a vet who discovered that the poor cheetah had pneumonia. Giving him medicine proved to be quite the challenge. He refused to touch anything. The poor cheetah was in dire need of medicine, but administering it was no easy feat. The animal refused to eat or drink anything. Ichul was visibly wasting away, with a lackluster coat and red, weary eyes. Whenever the predator attempted to stand up, its legs trembled uncontrollably, unable to support its weight. Everyone was concerned, but one girl in particular, Olga, was deeply worried about the cheetah's well-being. Realizing that the beast might die, she expressed the opinion that it might be worth hand-feeding it. Zookeepers did not approve of this idea. The risk was too great. Still, Ichul is a wild beast, and his behavior is impossible to predict. Then Olga decided to take matters into her own hands. Secretly from everyone, she opened the cell door and went inside. Ichul didn't even turn his head in her direction. When the girl took a piece of meat and brought it to the cheetah, he grinned slightly. Thus, he seemed to be asking to be left alone. Then Olga dipped the meat in water, and then again offered it to the cheetah. Ichul began to lick off the water, and unnoticed by himself, swallowed the meat as well. After that he sighed and turned away. But at that moment Olga's joy knew no bounds. She left the prison and hurried to the doctor to get some medication. The girl knew just what to do. Olga started putting medicine into the water, soaked meat. That food was not rejected by the cheetah. Ichul soon started to regain consciousness as the medication started to take effect. A few days later, when Olga entered the cage, the beast got up and went to meet her. The girl began to pet Ichul on the head, and he purred like a kitten. Since then, every day she freely entered the cage, and the cheetah, joyful and happy, hurried to her, barely hearing footsteps. Olga knew that the beast was waiting for her. As luck would have it, things started looking up for Mitchell, and Olga couldn't have been happier. She had played a vital role in saving the life of this incredible creature, and he seemed more than grateful to her for it. However, their happiness was short-lived as a devastating turn of events took place. A year later, amid summer, a heart-wrenching decision was made that shattered both Olga's and the cheetah's hearts. The zoo informed Olga that they simply did not have enough money to keep the big cat. They could not afford a house and feed him nor give him the medication he desperately needed. Therefore, the owner announced that he had sold Ichul to a circus. When the cheetah was placed in a transport cage, he began to thrash about and growl, and Olga could not hold back her tears. The girl continued to stand on the road even when the car was already out of sight. Due to the circus's constant travel across the country, Olga realized that visiting Ichul again was out of the question. He could be anywhere at any given moment, making it impossible for her to keep track of him. 4 years later, circus animals were brought to the zoo for filming. Olga heard a cheetah, blinded 2 years ago, was among them. She rushed to see if it was Ichul. The cheetah was eating without paying attention to people. And suddenly, when Olga began to ask the guard about the beast, he, having heard the voice, stopped eating and turned in her direction. When the predator meowed sharply, everything was already clear to everyone. Olga ran as fast as she could to open the cage, and the cheetah, hearing the name Ichul, desperately rushed to the girl and buried his head in her. Remarkably, after 4 years, the once blinded beast, who now answered to a different name, was able to recognize her. It's amazing what kindness, sincerity, and genuine care can do. They work true wonders.